little baby, don't you cry. Sometimes every living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Your daddy's rich and your mama's good looking. Oh, hush, little baby, don't you cry. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Your daddy's rich and your mother's good looking. Oh, hush, little baby, don't you cry. Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Oh, your daddy and your mama's good looking. Oh, hush, little baby, don't you cry. me by surprise. I can never see you, yeah, running up and through my mind, helpless like a baby, sensual disguise, and I'm so glad I found you, yeah. You're an angel in disguise, and I can't help it if I wanted to, and help it even if I could. I can't help it if I wanted to, and help it. No, I can't help it if I wanted to, and help it even if I could. I can't help it if I wanted to, and help it. No. To run my fingers softly while you sigh. Love came and possessed you, yeah, bringing sparkles to your eyes, like a trip to heaven. Heaven is the prize, and I'm so glad I found you, yeah. You're an angel in disguise, and I can't help it if I wanted to, and help it even if I could. I can't help it if I wanted to, and help it. No, I can't help it if I wanted to, and help it even if I could. I can't help it if I wanted to, and help it. No. Do 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 do. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Can't help it if I wanted to, and help it even if I could. I can't help it if I wanted to, and never know. I can't help it if I wanted to, and help it even if I could. I can't help it if I wanted to, and never know. I can't help it if I wanted to, if I could, if I would. I can't help it if I wanted to, wouldn't help it, no. I can't help it if I wanted to, if I could, if I would. I can't help it if I wanted to, wouldn't help it, no. Do, 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 do. Do. Da, 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 da. Ba, 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 ba. Da, 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 da. Ba, 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 ba. Skabba-doo-bap, 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 skabba-doo-bap. Skabba-doo-bap, 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 skabba-doo-bap.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to invite all of us to please take our seats and to settle down as we get ready to kick off tonight's program. Okay, I think I need to put a timer on it. So I'm giving everybody 30 seconds to please try and get in their chairs so we can get started officially with tonight's program. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the SANEF Fundraiser Gala dinner as we also commemorate Black Wednesday. We gather today to celebrate 25 years of SANEF's existence, and it's no easy feat. It's been 25 years of SANEF championing media freedom. For those of you who might not be fully aware of the journey or what has really gone into it, what makes tonight special is that we'll also be launching a booklet that chronicles SANEF's 25-year journey. And all of you as our guests will have the opportunity of taking it home, maybe as your bedtime literature, if that's the kind of thing you're into. But certainly, it will help give more information on what SANEF is and the work that the organization has done over the last 25 years. My name is Kathy Mutlatlana, and I'm going to have the easiest job for tonight, which is really just being your program director. I know you're really all here to hear from the social justice champion for 2021. Yes, you can give him a round of applause. And that's our keynote speaker, Dr. IMTIAZ SOOLIMAN. And he'll be speaking about the role and the importance of independent journalism, active citizenry, and of course the weaknesses of a weak state. I must say, and I made this note, I greeted Dr. SOOLIMAN earlier. He leads in many ways than just one. At exactly 1750, and no, this is not to make anybody else in the room feel bad, but at exactly 1750, Dr. SOOLIMAN and his guest were seated in their chairs, ready to go and get started with the program. So thank you, Dr. SOOLIMAN. That did not go wasted on me. Tonight we're here because everybody that is in this room that's part of tonight's program has shown their commitment towards supporting media freedom in this country. And it's something we do not take lightly. On that note, let me acknowledge our sponsors for tonight. Our platinum sponsor, APSA. Our gold sponsor, SASL. Arena Media for the advertising space that made tonight possible. Prime Media, First Rand, MTN, MultiChoice, Telkom, Media 24, Old Mutual, Sibanye Stillwater, Brunswick, and Aspen. Please, let's give ourselves a round of applause and really showing gratitude for all of you that have come on board to make tonight a reality. And we certainly hope that these partnerships will be partnerships that are carried well into the future. We meet tonight, and I must say, it's such a pleasure to be in a room like this with so many people. You're not wearing your masks. I'm asking myself, is this a dream or is it a reality? After so many months of these very tight restrictions, tonight feels a bit like opening a window and being able just to let in the fresh air and just to be able to breathe, even if it is just for a little while, because we know the moment is fleeting. And any time we can be called into a family meeting, and that changes everything. So let's enjoy tonight, make the most of being able to be in each other's company, to sit across a table with people, actual people that are not on your screen virtually. There are no connectivity issues. There's no muted, unmuted, or muted button that's supposed to be unmuted. And make the most of it, because we don't know how long it's going to last. I'm not going to waste much time. Let me get straight into some of the housekeeping issues for tonight. If you want to access the Wi-Fi, it's at Venue Guest, the Wi-Fi at Venue Guest, and you can just insert your email address. The password will be sent to you. It will be sent directly to your email address. Bathroom facilities are on the mezzanine level, as well as the ground level, just up the ramp on the left side of the room. This is when facing the stage. There's a dedicated smoking lounge, which is located also on the mezzanine level. In the event of an emergency, please remain seated. The venue team will initiate emergency procedures and ensures that everyone is actually safely evacuated. There are 2 emergency exits located on the ground floor, one at the back of this room and one directly to the stage when facing to the left of the stage when you're facing in this direction. As you can tell, I didn't quite do my lessons. The air hostesses do much better than I do. And once you've exited the building, please make your way to the main gates of Melrose Arch on Corlett Drive. So those are just some of the housekeeping matters for tonight. With that said, starters will officially be served. And after that, we'll have the official welcome remarks by the SANEF chair, Mr. Zbungalwa. There are vegetarian options available on the menu tonight. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're just going to use it as an opportunity to also celebrate with SANEF, but also have a bit of fun. Consider the occasion officially opened.
couldn't live without you. We took the D train for uptown and never looked down. That was then, this is now. You drove me insane, but I didn't complain. We had our thing, now we're done. But sometimes just for fun, and it's real cool, and it feels good, or at least it should. Get out on your own, girl. That's what they say. I've been through feminist statistics. A chick who said go holistic. They don't know how sweet you sound when you say, hey girl, what time you coming round? I'd work like a slave for it. Turn all D, pray for it. Swim short to shore for it. Go out like a whore for it. Cause when I'm down, I'm down. What time you want me round? We had our thing, now we're done. But sometimes just for fun, and it's real cool, and it feels good, or at least it should. Do 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 do.
Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen. I trust that you've all enjoyed the first serving of starters tonight. I did promise that our program is not going to be long, and the bulk of it we're about to get into. Let me not waste any time and invite onto the stage the SANEF chairperson, Mr. Zbungalwa. He's going to be giving us the welcoming remarks for tonight. Let's give him a round of applause, won't we?
Ladies and gentlemen, friends, colleagues, good evening. It's great to be sharing this night with you, where we're not only fundraising for SANEF, but we're also celebrating 25 years of this great organization. I think as we celebrate our 25 years, I actually had planned to walk into this venue as some kind of a hero, having triumphed. I thought earlier this week that let me do something that ties with SANEF's 25 years. Some of you would know that I occasionally jog. So I thought, let me just run 25 Ks, and then I'll come here and tell all of you that to mark SANEF's 25th anniversary, I managed to run 25 kilometers in one go. And I decided on Tuesday to get on the road, and I ran. I ran, ladies and gentlemen. And as I got to the 11-kilometer mark, I could feel my left, I could feel my left calf cramping. So I decided to stop. And I tried to console myself as I was walking back to the house, and I said, okay, but this doesn't have to be done in one go, you know? I can do it over a number of days, maybe 5 a day, and then by Friday I would have gotten to 25, right? So last night I was sitting on about, I think, 18 Ks. So I thought, a young 7 Ks, and then I'll come here and tell you about it. But that was not to be, ladies and gentlemen, as last night I ended up responding to a hostage situation. Not that I was held hostage, but I had to report on the hostage of the ministers and the deputy. And I ended up getting home at 3 in the morning, which meant that I couldn't run this morning. Now, I was a bit disappointed, but I think it was also a revealing moment, you know, in that it made me realize that actually 25 is no joke, you know. 25 is no mean feat. The fact that SANEF has made it to this point is something that is worth celebrating. You know, it's also something that made me appreciate the colleagues that I work with, our forebears, and some of the founder members who are here tonight. And I think tonight I have a profound understanding of the good work that you have done to keep this organization until this point. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, that deserves a round of applause. You know, in fact, one of the things that actually happened today is that the ANC was supposed to have a media engagement, and then they sent out a note to say that because of SANEF's event, they had to cancel theirs. I don't imagine that we are more important than the ANC, but I think that's also a reflection of the good name that SANEF has built for itself and the good work that has been done by those who came before us. I'm proud to be leading this organization with the management committee that is here tonight. And I think that the reason, ladies and gentlemen, and our founder members, that we have all of our friends here and our generous donors is that they recognize the name of SANEF and the role that SANEF plays in championing media freedom in this country. And this is the reason why we have all of you tonight here who have been able to celebrate with us, but also to open your wallets and assist us in this journey. So, as Kathy mentioned earlier, we have put together that booklet that commemorates our 25 years. of existence, and I recommend that any one of you who seeks to understand the work and also the journey of South African media in the recent history should actually get a hold of that book. It will help you understand the kind of battles that SANEF has fought to get to this point, the victories that we've scored over the years. But more importantly, it also chronicles the battles that we've faced over the years. And I think at the same time, one of the most important things is that that booklet also deals with some of the contemporary problems that as journalists we deal with in this country. That is the issue of mental health support for our journalists. Ladies and gentlemen, we gather here 2 weeks before an election, and usually this is a period that is where we are busy churning out statement after statement. And then one colleague said last week, "Hey, Mr. SANEF, what are you condemning today?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You guys are always condemning. So no, I have nothing to condemn. But I must say, though, the issue of safety of journalists is important to us. And it is usually around this time that we actually see journalists being harassed, being attacked, being abused. And I can say this time around, touch wood, we have not seen a lot of those incidents. Perhaps it also has to do with the fact that we have a short campaign period taking place. I think the important part for me is that as we also celebrate our 25 years, it's worth noting that we're having this event merely a week after the Norwegian Nobel Committee awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for 2021 to Maria Ressa and Dmitry Muratov. And that was to mark the efforts that they've made, as the committee said, to safeguard freedom of expression. And this is something that the committee regards as a precondition for democracy and lasting peace. I believe, as was stated here, it is a recognition not just for the two colleagues, but it is also a recognition for journalism throughout the world and for the work that we do as journalists to support democracy and expose wrongdoing. And whether that has to do with the 150 million rand that was paid into digital vibes, or whether it's the 1.1 million rand that was channeled from a small municipality in the Eastern Cape into the account of the private architect of a politician, that is the work that I believe supports our democracy. And it tells us, I shudder to imagine actually what it would be without that. It tells us that without a thriving and an independent media, we are doomed. That is why, ladies and gentlemen and friends, we call on you to join our efforts to build and support a sustainable media going into the future. The last 25 years have shown us that journalism is under threat, and it's not from the usual suspects. It's not from strong men, it's not from politicians, and it's also not from warlords. Yes, we do face those threats, but we do know that the declining revenue base and disinvestment in newsroom is leading to the poor quality of journalism, and also it threatens the existence and also the vibrancy and the quality of the journalism that we produce. And we know that without a free and independent and quality journalism, we cannot safeguard against the excesses of government. We won't be able to expose corruption. And we know that our democracy is vibrant because of the critical media and independent media that we have. And that's how it should be. And that's why we need to invest in the training of more journalists. And on that note, we'll thank the sponsors, but I just want to thank MTN for supporting our latest initiative regarding the safety training of journalists, rather. And we call upon other corporates to also heed that call and support such initiatives. Earlier this year, we held our successful Ethics and Credibility Conference in March, and we came up with a 5-year action plan, of what needs to be done to create a sustainable media in this country. The sustainability of the media topped that list. it is a conversation that cannot wait. It's a conversation that we need to have now. It's a conversation that we invite you to be part of, to join those efforts as we discuss the ways in which we can ensure that in South Africa the media continues to thrive, and that we still have a strong media which is able to hold those powerful to account. And to add to that point, we launched last year the Media Relief Fund, and with the help and the support of yourselves, we were able to raise some money. And through those efforts, we were able to pay out about 1.7 million in amounts of about 5,000 rand each to over 500 journalists, actually. And this was money that was meant to assist journalists with their immediate needs. These are people who had lost their jobs between March 2020, when the state of national disaster was declared, and whenever we had the current round, which is the 5th round, which just closed about 2 months ago. So which means we'll be paying more money, and we thank you for that support. But we decided that that was the last round. And the next phase goes back to the very point that I was making, that we're now starting to talk about the sustainability fund, setting up a sustainability fund that will assist journalism, and also coming up with initiatives that will make sure that we have strong media houses, not just big media houses, but also strong local media in various localities. And I think, as we watched last week, I think it was Mta who tweeted a day or so ago that South African media is behaving like the politicians. And the point he was making there, he says that the media is now visiting various communities around the time of the elections. And I thought it was actually a fair criticism, but I understand why. I think at the same time, there's also recognition of the good work that we've done as the South African media. I feel particularly this time around, because the stories that I've seen have actually told the South African story, the story of South African local government, as bad as it is. But more importantly, I think the reason why that is because we have to, as newsrooms, we have to find special budgets. You know, special budgets for the elections. Come November 5, we go back to regular programming. Imagine how it would be if we could be able to do the kind of journalism that we've seen over the past few weeks, over the past few days, and even today, dare I say, going into the future. How great it would be to tell the true South African story and not base it on the suburban centers where we find ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, as I wrap up, today we celebrate 25 years of SANEF, but we also celebrate Black Wednesday, which falls on the 19th of October. And this is as we reflect on the unfortunate events of 19 October 1977, where journalists and black consciousness leaders were jailed for exposing the evils of apartheid. Newspapers like The World and Weekend World were banned. And this is our history, and it's important. That's why it's important that we reflect on it, so that we never have to go back there. And I think as we celebrate some of the milestones that I've mentioned tonight, that also explains why we brought here our guest of honor, that is Dr. IMTIAZ SOOLIMAN, who needs no introduction, as the founder of the disaster relief organization, Gift of the Givers. And the reason for that is actually hidden, or rather it lies in the address that he'll be giving us tonight, where he will focus on the role and importance of independent journalism and active citizenry in a weak state. And as Kathy said, Dr. SOOLIMAN this week actually received the Social Justice Champion Award. And I think, as I said, his work speaks for itself. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, let me reiterate this point that as we celebrate the 25 years of SANEF, I think the work is cut out for ourselves, but I'm pleased to inform you that we are not starting now. We have already started that work of charting the future, of imagining the kind of future that we want to see for the media of this country. And we will be knocking on your doors. We will be bringing that, which is the sustainability of the media, as an agenda item in the meetings that we'll be calling with yourselves. And I urge you to support and join those efforts to ensure that journalism does not die. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much. That was the SANEF chair, Mr. Zbungalwa. He did say that our next guest needs very little introduction, but Dr. Sooliman, allow me to take the liberties and introduce you nonetheless. Dr. Sooliman was born in Potchefstroom in South Africa's Northwest Province on the 7th of March, should I give the date? 1962. He attended Sastry College in Durban and matriculated in 1978, going on to study medicine at the University of KwaZulu-Natal's Medical School, qualifying as a medical doctor in 1984. Dr. Sooliman commenced private practice in Pietermaritzburg in 1986, but chose to close his flourishing practice in mid-1994, choosing instead to focus his attention on Gift of the Givers Foundation, which he founded in August 1992. His establishment of Gift of the Givers was the consequence of a message Dr. Sooliman, then aged 30, received from Sufi Sheikh Mohammed Safa Effendi al-Jerahi, his spiritual leader in Istanbul, Turkey, who called on him to serve all the people of all races, of all religions, of all colors, and of all classes, and all political affiliations, of any geographic location, a calling he honored and he continues today. His endeavor in this regard has seen Gift of the Givers Foundation emerge as one of the most respected humanitarian organizations in the world, and today is the largest disaster response agency of African origin anywhere on the continent. And Dr. Sooliman, we are so grateful that you have taken up that call, because it is because of you that patients of a Helen Joseph Hospital and even residents of that area don't have to go thirsty. If you weren't there, we can't think about what their situation would be. Please come and give your address for us tonight.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you all the journalists here. I mean, I've been interacting with you guys for 29 years. You know, a special thanks to Mary Papaya. Tony Oosthuizen, her husband, was the first guy who wrote us on the front page of The Witness in 1993 when we did the hospital for Bosnia. At that time, you know, being an Indian, being a Muslim, it was very difficult to get media coverage. And the prejudices were there, terrorism, you know, Islamic extremism, all those things didn't work in our favor. But as time went on, journalists changed, people changed, the truth came out, reality was seen, journalists would travel with us, and definitely because of your intervention, your writings, your support, we've achieved what we achieved simply because of you. And I must say, the reason we are sitting here today is because of you, not because it's a SANEF function. This country was on the brink of a disaster. The country was falling apart and is falling apart. And had you not stepped in at the amount of times that you stepped in, I don't think anybody will be sitting here. And I'll explain this as we go along. But before I do that, I want to introduce how Gift of the Givers was formed. Many of you have heard that story, but I want to concentrate on an aspect of spirituality. Now, many journalists, many scientists, many people in academia shun religion. That's fine, that's your choice. People don't want to follow faith. It causes problems. Understand that, that's your choice. People don't want to accept religion. That's your choice. It's fine. Like you want to accept your own point of view, you have to allow other people for their point of view. And to me, one of the greatest things that we got to deal with, we talk about government, we talk about media, we talk about citizens. But what is government? What is media? What is citizens? We can't talk about broad concepts. These things are run by people, not machines. It is people that mess the country up or fix the country up. Government is a cover-up. Government did it. Who are the people in government that did it? What did the media point out? Was the media fair? Was the media balanced? Was the media objective? Did they only look at the negative things? Did they look at the positive things? Did they only run the police services down? Oh, the police are corrupt. They beat people up and take them out of their cars. Or did they say that a lot of police, when they leave home in the morning, they're not sure they're coming back in the afternoon? They're not sure a police lady doesn't know she's going to see her children and her husband in the afternoon or evening. The same goes for the policeman. Did we talk about the number of police who were killed in the line of duty, not corrupt, doing their stuff? Or is it always there another case of police corruption? Is it always another case of police corruption? Is it always another cause of negativity? We need to look at this very intently, but I'll come back to that. I want to give you a little bit of a background because the issue of racism, the issue of differences of color still permeates our society. And even in the recent unrest, when things were failing, and I explained that too, the racist card was being played. And as media, we need to fix those things. It's not about fixing government only. It's about changing mindsets in the country, changing people's thinking. So what happened doesn't happen. And actually, you guys got 16 days. Are we going to fix the problem after the local elections? Are we going to prevent the problem before the local elections? That's what we need to change, because it comes back not to government. It comes back to the people who run government. If they don't have spirituality, if they don't have morality, they're going to mess this country up even further. And we need to educate the populace that it's time you open your eyes and you choose somebody who's going to act in your interests. And I'll come back to that again. So the story starts. I finished internship. I want to explain spirituality very carefully. I want to become an internal medicine specialist. I qualify and I get to do my internship in 1985. Because of my color, I've been told there's no post to study as a registrar. I can't study medicine further. That's fine. Okay. Do you get angry, or you accept what the universe has for you? I accept what the universe has for me, and I do GP practice. I go to Maritzburg from Durban in January 1986. My neighbor comes to me. He's a butcher. He said, I got a patient, not a patient, a customer who's just come back from America and has come back from a scholarship from France. He's an athlete, but he's also a lecturer. He's arrived in Maritzburg, January 86, and you arrived in Maritzburg, January 86. He's a lecturer in French at University of KwaZulu-Natal, and he needs a doctor. The excuse was that he needed a doctor. I want you to understand this thread very carefully, the spiritual thread. He needs a doctor. He's an Afrikaner guy, a Christian guy, and a white guy. Stereotypes because of apartheid doesn't help. He's white, he's Afrikaner, he's Christian, it's a problem. Because the NJK church said, Swart se gevaar, rooi se gevaar, and Muslims se gevaar. Communists, blacks, and Muslims. That's what the church taught. Now we have that prejudice in our mind. And this guy comes, and you have to have an open mind. I meet him, Mr. Miller. And we start having a conversation, and he's my patient. And you start understanding a human being as a human being, but still not enough before I met the teacher. He tells me, my friend, my doctor, you need to meet a spiritual teacher in Istanbul. There was a teacher before him that passed on in 1985, and he says, I met the teacher in America. But the new one takes over in Istanbul in 1986. So I laughed. I said, Miller, it's 1986. You know, I still haven't seen Cape Town. When am I going to see Istanbul? He said something very pertinent. He said, what God wills happens. There's a time and a place. Again, many may not be open-minded to this. Many may not be objective. Many have their own thoughts about it. But I love that reality. There's a time and a place. And August 91, it happened, it's a long story, but I got to Istanbul. I walked into a Muslim holy place, and I actually thought I went to the wrong place. Why? Because of stereotypes and prejudice. I saw Jews there, and we fight in Palestine and Israel. I saw Hindus there, and we fight in India. I saw Russians there, and we fight in Afghanistan. I saw Americans there, and we fought with them everywhere. So I'm thinking, what the hell are all these guys doing in a Muslim holy place? I had my own prejudices, my own stereotype, my own narrow-mindedness. Coming from an apartheid past didn't help. What made it even worse was the Gulf War that took place that same year, 15 January 1991. It spoke about, Samuel Huntington spoke about the clash of civilizations. And it was perceived as the Christians and Jews on one side and the Muslims on the other side. The East on one side and the West on the other side. So it doesn't help. And you go to a place like this and you get totally confused. Spirituality takes over. The spiritual teacher looks me in the eye. I've never met him before. He's never met me before. What do you tell a person when he comes to your place for the first time? How are you, my friend? Where do you come from? When did you come? His first question to me is, what do you see? What do you see? I said, I'm confused. I see people of all religions and all colors and all nations that we fought with in a Muslim holy place. What are they doing here? He says, my son. Never met him before. My son. Mankind is one single nation. The God of all mankind is one. We just call him by different names. Any imam, sheikh, priest, rabbi, any leader, if he promotes violence, extremism, terrorism, disorder, friction, is not a man of God. Don't follow him. How many of you in the media understand that? Every Muslim is a terrorist. Written, if somebody does wrong, it's written broadly about Muslims being terrorists. Have you ever taken stock? If a lawyer is criminal, it's a legal profession messed up. If a doctor does bad behavior, is the medical profession going to be written off? We need to think very carefully about how we write, what we write. And then it happens. So I said, then he carries on to say, any individual who preaches love, kindness, compassion, and mercy is a man of God. You don't have to say God, if that's the problem with you. Say nature, say environment, say whatever you want to say. But everybody has its own understanding of that concept. So I look at him, the apartheid is gone. The blinker vision is gone. The stereotype is gone. And suddenly I realized that a white, a black, a Jew, a Christian, a Muslim, and even those who don't believe have the same color blood. Have the same feelings of pain, of anxiety, of hunger, of difficulty, of fear, what we saw in July in KZN. No different. We all feel the same feelings. And it is because of that one event, I came back to South Africa. I told myself, let me have a re-look at life. Don't make a box, white, Indian, black, atheist, no. Maybe I'll say ANC, IFP is a different story. Any case, the feeling comes back, a spiritual feeling, go back to Istanbul. So I go back to Istanbul. Life lessons were taught to me in that one line, because to change mindset is not easy. We lost our land in Potchefstroom. We lost our shop. We lost our house. We should be very angry. We lost our money. I should be angry. But that didn't allow that. Forgiveness frees you. It liberates you. So I come back on the 6th of August, 1992. It's a Thursday night, 10 p.m. In Sufi tradition, there's different parts. Islam is very diverse. And that's why we fight all the bloody time. Different groups. But it's a diverse religion. And in Sufism, we do what is called zikr. Zikr is a celebration of God's names. So in the different scriptures, you will say, the one and only, kind, compassionate, merciful, nourisher, cherisher, sustainer, and so it goes. So the words were said in Arabic at 10 p.m. exactly. The spiritual teacher is sitting in that corner of the room, and I'm sitting the side. He looks me directly in the eye, and he looks heavenwards at the same time. So he's looking at me, and he's not looking at me. And it says in fluent Turkish, I don't understand a word of Turkish. But I understood every single word that he said. That is spirituality. And it says, my son, I am not asking you. I am instructing you to form an organization. In Arabic, it will be Waqful Waqifin. Translated, it means gift of the givers. You will serve all people, of all races, of all religions, of all colors, all classes, all cultures, of any geographical location, and of any political affiliation, even if it's the ANC. And you will serve them unconditionally. You will expect nothing in return, not even a thank you. In fact, in what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life, expect to get a kick up your back. If you don't get a kick up your back, regard it as a bonus. Serve people with love, and this is where you guys come in. This is where you guys come in to make this a reality, because this nation is suffering. And I'll come back to that just now. Serve people with love, kindness, compassion, and mercy. And remember, the dignity of man is foremost. People in rural areas in this country have lost their dignity because of what they're enduring because of a corrupt government. I need to qualify that. Everybody in government is not corrupt. Everybody in government is not bad. Everybody doesn't need to put a sword through their throat. There are good people in government, and I'll explain that also. And it said, serve people with love, kindness, compassion, and mercy, and remember the dignity of man is foremost. So if somebody is down, don't push them down. Lift them. That's what you guys are busy doing right now. Caress the eye, the tear of the tear of an orphan. Caress the head of an orphan. Wipe the tear of a grieving child. Say words of good counsel to a widow. These things are free. They don't cost anything. Feed the hungry. Clothe the naked. And provide water to the thirsty. That is, citizenry comes, active citizenry comes in. Provide water to the thirsty, and in everything that you do, be the best that you are. Be the best at what you do. And that's why I like the concept of the chairman here who said, we need to train journalists. We need to be more investigative. We need to be more professional. We need to not take things from Google and what somebody else said from somebody else. We need to do our work thoroughly. Be the best at what you do, not because of ego, but because you're dealing with human emotion, human life, and human dignity. He repeated. This is an instruction for you for the rest of your life. And then he said in Arabic, Khairun nas ma yanfa'un nas. Best among people are those who benefit mankind. The emphasis is on the word mankind, all of us unconditionally. And then he said something very, very significant. He said, my son, whatever you do is done through you and not by you. I asked him, how is it? When you speak Turkish, I understand. When others speak Turkish, I don't understand. He said, my son, when the hearts connect and the souls connect, the words become understandable. That is spirituality. I asked him, what do you mean by this instruction? I'm a doctor in private practice. I got 3 practices in a place called Pietermaritzburg in South Africa. What do you mean? He told me one line, you will know. For 29 years, I do know. What to do, how to do, when to do, what not to do, when not to, and all that kind of stuff. The only thing I don't know is how I know. It just comes through in every single way. That was the beginning of active citizenry. Now come back to your role. You see, I went to Eastern Cape when the lockdown happened. In the first week, in the first week of April, when the 3 weeks were up, we go to Bokweni in Paarl, The curfew is 8 o'clock. The people are hungry. They're standing in a queue. Old people standing in a queue. The police comes to us. That's why I say, keep an open mind. SEPs come to my guy and said, it's 8 o'clock. It's curfew time. You can't give food parcels to the people. So my guy phones me from Cape Town. He says, the SEP says, we can't give out food parcels after 8 o'clock. So I say, put the SEPs guy on the line. And I tell him, I'm going ahead, do what you want. He sits back, he listens. To his own credit, he says, these are old people. They are hungry. We can't do this to them. Forget the law. He phones for reinforcements. He tells more cops to come. He says, let's take the food parcel and take these people home. Every SEP is not devil. He takes them home, and one last lady at 1:30 in the morning, it was freezing cold, said, I'm waiting for this food parcel. And she picks it up, gives a good smile, and she says, you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going home, and I'm going to wake up my grandchildren at 1:30 in the morning. And why are you going to do that? They haven't eaten for days. I want to show them that I'm standing in this line and I brought something for them. Why is it not only because of lockdown? And as the situation carries on, I'll explain to you further. It's because we have lost so much of money that there isn't enough money to help the poor in this country and fix the systems. And you need to prevent that before the elections happen. That same thing doesn't happen again. You have to be more aggressive, more enlightening, more teaching, more educating the public so they choose the right people to serve this country. You have two choices when you go into power, when you take office. Either you serve yourself, which is 90% of what's happening today, or you serve the people. It is your job to educate the people to choose the right one. It doesn't matter if the political party gets offended. You don't have to say names, because in every political party, there's good and there's bad. There are good councillors and there are bad councillors. But it is people's choice that puts the wrong people in. They bluffed a week or 2 weeks before election. Most of the people are very loving, very giving, very patient, very calm, and they want to do the things they think is best. But they need to be educated like they're being educated about COVID. So we give the food parcel, they go home. The underbelly of the crisis in the country is starting to expose itself from COVID-19. The situation is far worse than any of us thought. It was started before COVID-19. When we started getting the downgrade, when the currency started weakening, when the jobs were being shed and the corruption is going on all the time. People had no morality, no spirituality. I'm saying straight, black people forgot the black people they came from in the townships. You forgot where you came from. You forgot how they strive to put you where you are. You forgot them. The worst type of immorality. I'm not saying other people don't do corruption. But where you come from, when people strive and struggle, the ANC came from the Eastern Cape. The Eastern Cape is in a total mess. It's a total disaster. So, comes June. We go to Paddy. The people are forgiving. And it's your job again to help people like that. You are the voice of the people. And I hope you go for another 100 years. Independent journalism, independent media. And the country must support you, because you can save a country from burning and falling apart by exposing, but you have to be fair in what you do. You have to be just in what you do. You have to be honest and integral yourself in what you do. So we get into Paddy. The lady takes the food parcel, very dignified. And she says, thank you. And then she says something amazing. She says, speak to my children. They will tell you the taste of every plant in this area. For the last 3 months, they've been eating plants. Do we know that? Or we also sit like the government in office and go to the roots, city areas only? How many of us media go into the deep rural areas? Yes, you go sometimes. But do you check the whole situation thoroughly? Or is it easy just to get the story in the city, in the suburb? Nobody knew the situation. And then we get the words, what that lady is saying is true. We have the same situation here, there, and everywhere. And the message comes, they're eating the tortoise. They're eating the lizard. They're eating the cat. I told you, it's a situation of indignity, of humiliation. Why should they be eating this? Where's the government? Blame it on apartheid, they say. How long ago is after apartheid? Blame it on yourself for stealing, for what you've done. Take responsibility for your immorality. Don't blame other people. They did their mess, you're making your mess now. And then at the dump trucks, the dump sites, when the dump trucks come, why should a 4-year-old child be running to a dump site? In the richest city and the richest country in the continent. Why should that be happening? And when the truck comes, the child goes and takes a peanut butter bottle, puts his finger inside, my staff witness it, and start eating what you can get out from there. Is that human? Is that permissible? And another child takes a serrated jam tin and puts it in his mouth. Can get cut, can get infected. But they have to do it because there is no feeding scheme. Responsible government, before they shut the country down, should make alternatives. Should say, yeah, there'll be feeding scheme, or kids can come to school. We shut the school down, but come every morning for the food. What kind of planning is that? There is no disaster capability in this country. The disaster in this country is a disaster. They can't handle anything properly. That's a fact, and I tell them that to their face, because I'm a frank guy. And so, the most disheartening of it all, we gave out 400,000 food parcels. We supported 100 soup kitchens. And the child comes to the soup kitchen. Small, thin black child. Torn shirt in winter. No shoes. Short pants. Comes meek. Stands in the queue. And says, I won't take much food. If I don't take much food, will you give me food for my mother, my father, my brother, and my sister? They're hungry. Can you give me some food for them? It's a story repeated over and over and over again in the Eastern Cape. And we provide food parcels, and we said, no, you can have a whole food parcel you can have for your family. But how many families can you sustain? How many people can you support? We're going to Makanda. We're going to other parts of Eastern Cape. People are crying. The politicians get called. The people are always the bad ones. They're violent. They burn things. They put tires in the road. They don't listen. They're indisciplined. Or because the politician is right. He comes there and he listens. We'll come back in next week. But he doesn't tell you in which year he's coming back. He comes there and the people get upset. They get offended. Their children don't have water to drink. Old people don't have water to take their medicines. And promises after promises are made. And then when you ask the politician, can we solve the problem in the Eastern Cape? They said, yes, we've allocated 5 billion rand for dams. So I asked them, so the dam will be ready this afternoon, and the water will be flowing tomorrow morning. No foresight. The disaster is now. The emergency is now. The urgency is now. Government doesn't understand those 3 words. Urgency, emergency, and disaster. And people go on day after day after day without water. And then thank God to you guys. You're right, our municipality says we've done a great job. We drilled 30 boreholes and it cost us 120 million. We did something. 4 million rand a borehole. Was that for engine? Or for total? For Exara? Are you looking for oil? 4 million rand for a borehole. What are you talking about? And 20 of them are not working. And then, that's the poor class. Go to the hospitals. The consultant earns 120,000 in a month, 60,000 in a month. Junior doctors. You go to the hospitals, the doctors are crying. The nurses are crying. The porter is crying. Why are they crying? They've been left to their own resources because 14.3 billion rand of PPE money disappeared. Not only the money, even the PPE disappeared. It never came to the hospital because who got the contract? The politician's cat, his dog, the panel beater, the hairdressing salon. People not in the medical field got the contract. And it is your responsibility. And you've done that. You've done a lot of good things in what you've done. I mean, you've asked me to speak on the role of media in a weak state. It's an obvious question, and the answer is so obvious. If you hadn't done what you had done up till now, how much more money would have been spent? You have to do it fearlessly, but fairly. You have to do it in a firm way, but objectively. Like I said, there are people in government that are good people. And in the last 4 weeks, because of the pressure of what you guys have been doing, the goodness is coming out. We can't keep focusing on the negative. From a spiritual point of view, you will destroy the society. You will put negativity into the atmosphere all the time. You need to encourage good. You need to support good. You need to bring good out. And even a person's soul has got some badness. If you keep saying good, the good will come to the top. And then as a role, you have to say something important. Your sponsors are banks and other companies. But corporates have a responsibility also. I ask the question, how does government get corrupt? Do they corrupt themselves? No. In a lot of issues, corporates have been responsible for corrupting people inside government. And what does that boil down to? Lack of morality, lack of spirituality, lack of goodness. And when all these things were happening from lockdown, came the final crisis in July 7 this year, when the entire country was taken apart, when there was shock, when there was fear. We've never seen the citizens so afraid in this country, afraid that a civil war was going to take place. But did we understand the developments properly? Did we analyze properly what was happening at that time? They said it was the pro-Zuma faction. How many of them were there in the pro-Zuma faction? How many people knew they were protesting for Zuma? Yes, it was the pro-Zuma faction, but were they responsible for everything that happened? What was actually done? The media said it was violent unrest. There were riots. What riots were they? Who rioted against who? Who was being attacked? Where was the problem? Do you know the people were non-violent? Do you know they walked through the streets and greeted everybody? Do you know they harmed nobody? Those who got shot by the police, but by far and large, those thousands of people that walked through the areas harmed nobody. They went to the shops. A 4-year-old child is not a rioter. He walks into the shop and he takes a pair of shoes. Not that it's condoned. Students go and take branded stuff. They don't harm anybody. It again goes to our morality. You're going to university. You're going to be in the corporate world. You go and steal branded stuff. There's something seriously wrong with the spirituality and the morality of our country. We are saying it's okay to do this kind of stuff. So the students go in, a mother comes out with a packet of fish and a tin of beans. That's all she takes. Who are the biggest culprits? 4x4s, Mercedes-Benz, BMW. People come with cars like that and take expensive stuff. And we say the crisis is because of food. Are you going to eat the TV? Are you going to eat the fridge? No. And if that is the case, then the riot should have started in the Eastern Cape, not in KZN. Because the hunger in the Eastern Cape is far more than anybody has seen in this country. It was done by those who tried to create a disturbance in the country. I call them the anti-patriots, the traitors. They needed to get numbers. They didn't have numbers. So the good point is this country is safe. There's no case like this could happen. They needed numbers, so you tell anybody, go to the shop and help yourself. They will come in their thousands. But they didn't harm anybody. When that was failing, they used the race card. They tried to cause friction between groups. Yes, there was disturbance. It's understandable. But was this a race issue, or was it a safety and a security issue? I asked the question the other day around, and I'm saying it bluntly. If Indians raided Kwamashu, and blacks were protecting Kwamashu, will we say that blacks are racist? Is this got to do with racism, or it's got to do with self-preservation? The biggest traitors were those who sent these people out, the writers didn't burn anything. They were ordinary people who've had an opportunity. And believe me, this was planned weeks in advance. We got rumblings, disturbances, news. People are talking in the streets in Maritzburg. In 2 weeks' time, we're going to be rich. We're going to have things in our house. We're going to have lots of fridges and stoves. And people asked, how do you know this? They said, wait and see. And when they came back home, black people from informal settlements, living next to Indian people in KZN, in the morning when Indian people got up, fridge, stove, meat, step ladder were lying outside their door. Where's the racism? They said, you know, we went yesterday, we got some stuff, you guys didn't come, you're our neighbor, we brought you some stuff. It sounds funny, but what does it tell you? There is hope for this country. That people who try to destroy this country will not succeed. And the final point I want to make about this, and I'm going to be blunt again. You see, the people who did this, they said they're doing it in the interest of black people. So please tell me, when the doctors and nurses couldn't go to work, they couldn't go to the public hospital, who are 90% of the patients in the public hospital? Black. Who couldn't get oxygen? Black. Who couldn't get food? Black. Who couldn't get nursing care in ICU care? Black. Whose optometry practices were destroyed? Black. Those children worked so hard. Their pension fathers and grandfathers put them to learning. They got the practices, and those practices were destroyed of black people. Who were the most to lose their jobs? Black people. When factories of medicine and pharmaceutical companies were destroyed, who were to lose out on medicines? Black people. Who was to take taxis to go long distances? Black people. So please tell me, how are these people benefiting black people? We need to be very open-minded. And as different races and different religions and different colors and different classes, we need to say the truth about everything that is happening without taking sides. And it was black people who stood up in Soweto to protect it. It was Chief Buthelezi in Ishawe and parts of Zululand and Ulundi that got black people to protect the shops of other people. There was no violence there because responsible leaders came to the fore and said we need to save this country and we need responsible leaders in government, and you are the ones that can hold people to account, to get leaders who will come and serve the country and not serve themselves. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of good people in government. I engage with them all the time. I meet them all the time. The CEOs of hospitals, the directors, the chief directors, ministers, deputies, there's a lot of them who want to do good. If you promote that good and don't keep saying government is bad, police is bad, this one is bad. If you keep saying and qualify what you say, you will give more hope, you will give goodness to people. I've seen MECs change. I've seen people have made mistakes. We're all human, we all make mistakes. So active citizenry, everybody stood up, and on the 19th of July, in KZN, whites, blacks, and Indians were sharing bread together, they were sharing milk together, they were standing in the queues together, there was no friction, there was no discord. We were on the streets, we saw it. You will swear there was no disturbance in KZN, because people stood together, hand in hand, and said, we can't allow anybody to destroy our country. And for me, that is a new starting point. What has happened 1 hour ago is finished in the back. Going forward is what we need to fix now. Teach the morality, teach the ethics, look at the good, expose the bad, hold people to account, also hold to account the type of people that we put into power. Why have the municipalities collapsed? It's not only because of corruption. It's because there's a total lack of skills. The skilled people are gone. There's no accountant. There's no technical director. There's no engineer. There's no people who can take records. It's a total mess. And that is opportunity for job creation of skilled people in all the municipalities in our country. There's opportunity for job creation in 40,000 posts are required in our hospitals. Doctors, nurses, physiotherapists, pediatricians, paramedics and dietitians. And the biggest need right now in this country is psychologists. The mental health of the nation is affected. Something else, the media can ask the question. Why is it there are 300 psychology students, but only 16 can do masters? Why? How many psychologists do we need in this country? The police services is messed up. The healthcare profession is messed up. The teaching profession is messed up. Those who have lost their jobs are messed up. Everybody needs psychological support. But universities decide not to do that. We need to question why that is happening. Ladies and gentlemen, I've spoken enough. I've put in thoughts for you to think and open your mind. Objectivity, everything in government is not bad. Everybody is not negative. Everybody is not a crook. Every policeman is not bad. We have good people everywhere. Let's find the good, be balanced, and hold people to account, and we can save this election, we can save this country, and we can put the best people in power. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sooliman, for speaking with such great conviction. And it's not always great when a mirror is held up. When you're looking good, of course, it makes you feel good. But when you begin to see your flaws, it stings. And I think for many journalists in the room, you've certainly helped us think about the fact that we could be doing better, that there are areas where we have gotten it wrong and where we continue to get it wrong. And colleagues, I hope that that's an opportunity for us to truly reflect on tonight. Let me invite up next onto the stage the acting head of group communications at ABSA, Gugulethu Maqethuka, who's going to be coming up just to give us a short address before we get straight into the main course for tonight.
Thank you, Kathy. It's hard to follow that sterling act and address from Dr. IMTIAZ SOOLIMAN. Thank you. A very good evening to you all, including the colleagues who have joined us virtually. I greet the media, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to see people in the flesh for a change. This is the first physical event I've attended in almost 20 months. I suspect this may be the case for most people here tonight. If you had asked me 2 years ago how life would have looked like in 2020 and 2021, my view would have been that the total opposite of what we have experienced thus far. There are numerous lessons that the COVID-19 pandemic has taught us. One of these is that there is a lot that we took for granted. Tonight's commemorative dinner is somehow a reminder of how much we need to appreciate some of the freedoms that we enjoy as a country. Media freedom is one of them. Although Africa remains the most dangerous continent for journalists, as South Africans, we ought to take heart in knowing that this year's World Press Freedom Index ranks us better than some of the most advanced democracies, including the US and the UK. This is an achievement to celebrate and one that we can improve on. This achievement also calls on us to guard this freedom jealously by ensuring that our country never experiences a Black Wednesday of any form ever again. The idea behind tonight's fundraising dinner is to ensure that South Africa never goes back there. I believe that our financial support and presence here, both as corporate organizations and as individuals, is a strong signal of our commitment in ensuring that we never go back there. We applaud SANEF for the critical role that it is playing in preserving and advancing media freedom. Tonight, we are here to cheer you on and to say that we are here to support you and to be the force for good that you require in order to continue advancing this noble cause. I thank you.
A big thank you again to ABSA for being our platinum sponsor for tonight. The big speeches are out of the way. I'm going to allow for the main course to be served for tonight. And then I don't know if there's going to be singing and dancing, but you can definitely continue to relax. And I'm just going to ask Dr. Sooliman if you can please just join us on stage. And Guguletu, if you can also please come up on stage with the SANEF officials, just for a quick picture opportunity. Why would it not? Why would it not? Hello, how are you? Sorry for butchering your surname. Hello. Okay, here's one of the gifts. I don't know who's, Makati, do you want to hand it over?
Hello? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Can you please give a round of applause for the amazing musicians? On the drums, this is Lungile Kunene on the drums. Behind me, on the double bass, Mr. Tebingosi Mavimbela. This is Mr. Wandile Mulife on the piano. My name is Lwanda Gogwana on the trumpet, and would like to welcome back our beautiful vocalist, Ms. Tina G, to sing a classic. This is called Fever.
Never know how much I love you. Never know how much I care. When you put your arms around me, I get a fever that's so hard to bear. You give me fever when you kiss me, a fever when you hold me tight. Fever in the morning, a fever all through the night. Sun lights up the daytime, moon lights up the night. I light up when you call my name, and you know I'm gonna treat you right. You get me fever when you kiss me, a fever when you hold me tight. Baby, yeah, I burn for soup. Everybody's got a fever. That is something you won't know. Fever isn't such a new thing. Fever started long ago. Romeo loved Juliet. Juliet, she felt the same. When he wrapped his arms around her, he said, Julie, baby, you're my flame. Thou give us fever when the kisses, a fever when the home is tight. Fever, I'm on fire, and baby, when I burn for soul. Captain Smith and Pocahontas had a very mad affair. When her daddy tried to kill him, she said, Daddy, oh, don't you dare. He gives me fever when he kisses, a fever when he holds me tight. Fever, I'm on fire, and Daddy, won't you treat him right? Now that you've listened to my story, here's the point that I have made. Chicks were born to give you fever. Be it fair and not a centigrade to give you fever. When they kiss you, a fever when they hold you tight. Fever, I'm on fire, and baby, yeah, I burn for soup. Thank you. Scandi, donda, scandi, scarurururure, scarurururure, scavanondi, dondi, donda, dandi, scarurururure, scarurururure, scavanondi, Won't you fly away while you're don't despair? The world is full of joy. You cry, you smile, and you dance. Even though sometimes it's a drag, Thank you. No sunshine when she's gone. It's not warm when she's away. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and she's always gone too long. Anytime she goes away, wonder this time when she's gone. Wonder if she's going to stay. 'Cause ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and she's always gone too long. Anytime she goes away, and I know, 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 I know. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and she's always gone too long. Anytime she goes away. Hey, yeah, 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 baby. Ooh, no, 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 no. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. No. Anytime she goes away, wonder this time when she's gone. Wonder if she's gone to stay. 'Cause ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and she's always gone too long. Anytime she goes away. And I know, 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 I know. 'Cause ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and she's always gone too long. Anytime she goes away. Hey. she's always gone too long. Anytime she goes away, anytime she goes away, anytime she goes away, anytime she goes away. Thank you. We'd like to take a short break. We'll be right back.
tequila.
Tequila?
We drink tequila.
Tequila?
We have fun. We drink tequila.
Tequila?
We have style. We drink tequila.
Tequila?
We all smile when we drink tequila. Here, have some tequila.
Tequila?
We never forget the tequila.
Tequila?
Hey, give me some tequila. Margarita, or maybe just straight.
Tequila?
When you need a kick, añejo is great.
Tequila?
Reposado, silver, as long as it's pure.
Tequila?
100% agave, you gotta be sure.
Tequila?
I love tequila.
Tequila?
You love tequila. The Mexican sun gives us tequila.
Tequila?
It's so much fun when we...
Testing 1, 2. Good evening again. Good evening again to everyone. I'm just going to give you a minute to please get resituated. We're at the very last leg of our program for tonight. Can the guests up in the mezzanine please also get resituated? Sorry for interrupting your picture op. It's so good to see everybody just relax and having a good time. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, because I have to announce that it's almost coming to an end. We're not quite there yet, but certainly we're edging ever closer there. We've heard about the 25 years that SANEF is celebrating, and especially the launch of the 25-year anniversary booklet. Well, to tell you exactly what you can expect in that booklet and why it is such an important feat for SANEF, I'm going to invite onto stage Miss Mary Papaya, who's the Media Freedom Chair, and she'll be followed by the SANEF Secretary General, Miss Matlasi, and you'll hear from me after that. Mary?
Good evening, everybody. This is such a momentous occasion for us at SANEF. And I think before I tell you more about this wonderful project, just to say a big thank you to our chair, Spu Ngalwa, for creating such an enabling environment so that we could really come up with all the creative strategies and put to the test something as amazing as this. To our SG, Mishlatsi, who basically made sure that we added color to it and that the front cover had a picture of her. And I'm going to call up just now to show you exactly what it's about. But really, not to take long, just to say that this is an incredible contribution by individuals who really show what SANEF's all about. Individuals who took time off deadlines to put together their stories, share with us innuendos, and really take us through the early days of SANEF. It was about contestation, it was about challenge, it was about media freedom, it was about personal growth, it was about personal difficulty. There's some stories there that really tugs at the heart and really tells you everything that SANEF's about. It's a breathing, living organism. And thanks to those founder members, some of whom are here, so many to name, some who are not here but who join us virtually, we miss you all. We thank you for getting us here. And for me personally, this is a thank you to SANEF, really, because I've enjoyed such an incredible journey, both at the start and now with some incredible leaders who really teach me about what SANEF is all about, how it's transformed from then to now, but still holding one common, vibrant, singular, and important ingredient, and that is media freedom. And that is what this book is all about. It's about 25 years of SANEF, telling the story of media freedom through different voices, individuals who play such an important role in our media industry. And some are not here, some have gone before us, but their story is still here, their efforts are still documented. And it basically talks about the early days when SANEF was formed, from the Black Editors Forum and the White Editors Forum coming together. And it talks about what happened at Breakwater Lodge. It takes us through the first 10 years and then the next 15 years, right till today, COVID, all the projects that SANEF has done, our ethics conference and ethics and the sustainability research that we were the first organization to do that. The issue around mental health, all of that is there. So although it tracks back to the early days, it is also relevant for what is happening today. And for those of you who blacklisted my number because I was hounding you, please, please, please put me back on there. Just to say to the SG and the chair, I didn't lose any hair, I didn't have any sleepless nights, I didn't get sworn at, I didn't have people basically talk ill about me because I was phoning them 20 times a day. But really, it was an incredible, incredible opportunity and a journey that's so worthwhile. Thank you to everybody who gave us their submissions and who told us right from the heart what SANEF means to them. And without further ado, I'm going to call on our SG, and she's going to give us a little modeling with the cover. And by the way, you each get a copy. It costs, no, I'm lying, it's free. But if you want a second copy, you'll have to contribute to the Sustainability Fund. And so big thank you to Hopewell, our project manager, our executive director, Reggie, and Dutsi, who basically held my hand through this when everybody else didn't want to talk to me. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy our book. You can walk up and down.
You know, she's asking me to do.
You walk down the stairs. Walk down.
I must walk down the stairs.
Yes, right there.
You know,
Go
I'm
and
sure
show
the
to
Secretary General
Anton.
of the ANC gets better respect.
Go to Anton. And the chair. And our guest speaker. Our keynote speaker. Okay, you've done it now. Oh, and Judy, if you're watching, we miss you.
Hey guys, I used to think the Secretary General position is an important one, but hey. I have the easiest job of the night, and that is to say thank you to each and every one of you. Before I start, the history of this country is often one that is told of the pain of colonialism, the oppression of apartheid, and we celebrate often the people that fought for us to actually be able to sit in this room, for us to have a free media, for us as journalists to be able to tell the South African story as we see it, but as Dr. Sooliman says it, fairly and justly. We celebrate them often. But I think the past 27 years, what we have learned, and especially for me in SANEF, is that we have to celebrate a lot more people that defend our freedom. And this is what tonight is really about. We must celebrate people that defend this hard-won democracy. We have to also celebrate people that work and wake up every single day to restore the dignity of South Africans. So Dr. Sooliman, you are one of those people. So thank you very, very much for your continued work to restore the dignity of our people. I want to also take this opportunity and ask some of the founding members of SANEF to actually stand up, because we are here and we are standing here because of their vision. You heard from Mary, it was a difficult process to bring them together, divided racially, divided ideologically, but they knew that this freedom that was born deserved a media that was united and practitioners that were willing to defend it at all costs. So can some of them that are here stand up so that we can acknowledge them and celebrate them? Come, Anton. I know many of them are also watching via our YouTube stream. I think this is an opportunity to say thank you, and we celebrate you. You have really done an amazing job, and we are quite fortunate that we get to walk in those steps. We are very lucky as an organization that you have the luxury of institutional memory. You have the luxury of people that can tell you why this matters, because they went through the pain and they endured the pain. So for that, we are truly grateful that you remain some of the most committed people in SANEF today. Thank you for continuing to inspire us and continuing to give your time and your effort for this wonderful organization. Thank you very much. I also want to take the opportunity to thank our chair, Sibungalwa, Tina Asina Valo. We are led. Thank you very much, Sbu, for leading us. It's not always easy. You know, people say, SANEF, you're a group of people that condemn every day. They don't always acknowledge the work that goes behind the scenes. And a lot of it is because we have a lot of very committed people. SANEF trains journalists. SANEF has a partnership with SADC right now that is running to support journalists who need mental health support. And there are so many other things that we do. So please do go to our website. And then most importantly, I want to thank the people that make it possible for us to do the work that we do. And I want to start with ABSA. And, you know, it's not even just about today. ABSA has been with us on a very long journey. When we started the ethics inquiry, which was a difficult part for us as journalists to say what could have gone wrong amongst us. Because, you know, we're not all about saying you did wrong, and you did wrong. We acknowledge that some things might have gone wrong, and we said, let's take a moment and actually reflect so that we can avoid some of the mistakes that happened. And ABSA has been with us throughout that journey. So thank you very, very much. and also to Sasol. I'm really grateful that we are able to gather again and for you continuing to see SANEF as a worthy cause. And just to name the other sponsors as well, Brunswick, Telkom, MultiChoice, Media 24, Old Mutual, MTN, Prime Media, Sibanye, Aspen, Film Publications Board, First Rand, and also Arena, that for a very long time, I think that, we don't tell the story often. There was a time when, I think it was 2016, and we just didn't even know how we were going to pay our executive director. And we are so lucky to have organizations like Arena that actually stepped in and make sure that we are a very sustainable organization. Many of these companies that I have mentioned support us in many other projects that SANEF is really involved in. I just want to say to you, when you support SANEF, it's not just about the journalists being able to do their work, but you're actually protecting the South African public's right to know. Because what journalists do is they dig deeper and they reflect on the story of South Africans so that they can be able to have a voice and hold accountable those in power. So thank you very much for continuing to spend the money, and especially to our media houses. We know that the past 2 years have been particularly painful. Checking those books has not been quite exciting, and we know that where you dug was where there was very little. So thank you very much for continuing to be committed to journalism, because that says that you're committed to the future of this country. Thank you very much. Last one, Kathy. Where's Kathy? Kathy and I went to high school together. We come from the beautiful town of Polokwane. We went to Capricorn High School together. So I'm always just proud when I see her flourishing and flourishing, because of course I was her senior. But thank you very much, Kathy, for continuing to love SANEF and for continuing to give your time. We really, really appreciate it. To the SANEF office, Mary has already mentioned our executive director. Where's Reggie? Reggie Lucy, up there. Thank you very much, Hopewell, our project manager, and Zuzi, who makes sure that SANEF runs. Thank you very, very much. And then to the journalists that are not yet members of SANEF, democracy needs defenders. The application forms are here, and we are ready to sign you up, and we are hoping to see you at our next council meeting, which is in November. So you can come and see me, or you can come and see Zuzi. We are ready to sign you up. For each and every one of you, thank you for spending the time with us. We truly appreciate it. The SANEF dinner is really about networking, it's about reconnecting, it's about debating the difficult issues of South Africa, and also just having fun. So can you please continue having fun, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Matlatsi and Mary. So that brings us to the official end of the program, but I am told that if you are young at heart, the night too is still young. There's a DJ who's waiting to enthrall you with his skills, and you can stay for as long as you want, until of course you get kicked out. I've been told to tell it to you in that way. So ladies and gentlemen, please continue to enjoy the rest of your evening. That's where we'll leave it in terms of the official program. Have yourselves a good night, and we'll see you again at the next fundraiser. Thank you.